Tonight with the vowels, we gave you an introduction last week. So these are what we call the A-type vowels. And there are 3 of them. Now you remember, like from last week, that you have this, the X represents any of the consonants. Any of the consonants, this X represents any of the letters. And the vowel goes underneath, or right here, yes. Okay? Or it could be either a yud or a vav here, or an aleph over here to the side. So these are the vowel placements. Okay? And this represents any consonant. So aleph, bet, gimel, dalet, so on. So these are the A sounding vowels. And the A is not A as in apple. The A is A as in yacht. Okay? So it's an A sound like a short O actually. A. So the first one is called kametz. Everyone say kametz. Kametz. The second one is called patach. And the third one is called katef patach. Okay, so say it again. Kametz, patach, katef patach. And I expect you to learn the names. Okay, the first class we didn't, now we do. Okay, and that way, so when we're using them, we know which one we're talking about. So in smaller writing, the kametz is the one that looks like this. The patach is just like a dash, and the katef patach is a dash with the colon next to it. So, what would your question be?
When do we use them?
When do you use them? And why are there 3 different ones with all the same sound? The same, the same way you have aleph. Aleph makes no sound. You have ayin. Ayin makes no sound.
Because they changed the tense.
You have the kaf, and the kuf that sound the same. Things like that. So you have these different letters. The reason why is because it is believed that at the beginning they actually had different sounds. And there are still slight variations to the sound. If it's a kametz, or a patach, or a katef patach. Okay? So there is a difference as to the sound of these vowels, and that's why they're used this way. So the kametz is what we would call a long sound. Ah. So everybody say ah. 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 The patach is called a short. So that would be ah. Now you notice when Nora said you notice that the first ah, there was both 2 ahs, right? The first one was what? Aha. So the first one was aha. The first one aha is short, and the second one is aha is long. Okay. So when you say aha, aha. This is the patach, and this is the kametz. And this is why, which we'll show you in a minute, this is why when a word starts with the vowel A, with one of these, it almost always starts with the patach, because the first syllable does not receive the emphasis. It's the second syllable that receives the emphasis. One of the ways that you emphasize the syllable is by lengthening. Okay? So, aha. What do you do? You kind of raise the voice a little bit, but you lengthen the sound. Aha. And that's the emphasis. Okay? You okay?
Sorry.
So, you have words like Shabbat, Torah. That first syllable is shorter, the second syllable is longer. Okay? So, when you have there are a lot of words where you're going to have a patach and a kametz side by side, so to speak. So usually the patach will come first because it's the shorter sound. Being in the first syllable, it's the shorter sound. Okay, so the patach is the short, kametz is the longer sound, so it's going to come further down the line. So in all of your female, feminine noun forms, those of you who remember those classes, okay, how do I make something feminine? Okay, and you'll notice that all of those words do what? Okay, Torah, Sarah. Okay, so it has that Yalda, it has that longer A sound, that extension. So that's what this is about. This is telling you that it's the A sound, but it's elongated, it's lengthened, it's held out. Whereas the patach is short. So now we have the katef patach. Okay? The katef patach. Katef. Okay? So those of you who were in the other class, in the first advanced class, you remember that mark, the semicolon or the colon. The shiva. Okay. So this mark here, I'll go ahead and put this down for you so you can. This is called a shiva. And a lot of times you'll see it written with just an apostrophe there. Okay, shiva. And the shiva, do you remember what the shiva means?
Short.
Okay. Short, almost non-existent. There's almost no sound. Okay. So when there's a transliteration taking place, you have shiva. So it would be it would look like this. Shiva. Okay? So when you see that, usually in the transliteration, that's where they put the apostrophe, that there's actually no real vowel. Okay? So it's Shiva. So that's what this mark means. That there's no sound. You have like two consonants side by side without a vowel in between them. But there's just a little bit of sound going from one consonant to the next consonant. So, Breshit, very good. The bait of Breshit. Breshit with a bait, okay, which means in the beginning. Breshit, beginning, but in. Okay, so it would be written, it would look like this in the Hebrew. Okay, so it's going to look like that in the Hebrew, Reshit. So that is just the cut off sound. Reshit. The B and the R basically together. So it's written, transliterated like this. So that comma, or that apostrophe, is that mark, is the Shiva. I tell you that there's a little bit of a break, a little bit of a sound, not much, and you go straight into the next consonant. So, then what is the katef patach using the Shiva? And you will see this in quite a few words. Okay, you'll see in the Torah scroll, you'll see this. Those of you who have the Talmud in Hebrew and such as that, you'll see this mark. Okay, it simply looks like this. It's a Shiva with the patach. You also have the E sound and the I sound with this mark. Okay, and these are all called katef, and so you can remember what its name is and what it means by katef, because katef means cut off. So as the Shiva would completely cut off the vowel, almost completely cut off the vowel sound. But if you have a katef, it doesn't completely shut off the vowel sound. So we would say that this is a very short A sound. So you have and you have Okay, but the would be with the vowel A, okay, which is very short, and then sometimes you'll have it with the E sound, or E, A. So all of these, that's how all of this works. Okay, now I'm telling you that. It's going to make it, if you can remember this, it's going to make it simpler for you when we go into the other vowels. If you remember the katef patach, because they all have a katef. They all have a katef vowel. One that is cut off, one that is very short. Okay? And like I said, when you start reading the Torah scroll and things like that, those of you who have things in Hebrew that's got the vowel markings in there, you'll find those things. So that's what that is about. It's just telling you to make a very short sound. Okay, everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay. So we have in saying all of that, spend a little bit of time to explain. So if syllables, this, by the way, if you're not familiar, is the shorthand for mem. Okay, that's a shorthand mem. So instead of trying to do the square and the little line, whatever, it's just these. So it's a shorthand mem. Excuse me, say it again?
Net.
You're close. What is the vowel sound? As in yat. So mat. Okay? So notice how this works. So I have a mem and the what? Kametz. Okay? Why? Because this is what we call an open syllable. It's an open syllable. This, so what is this? How does this go?
Ma.
Ma. Where this is mat. So this is a closed syllable. What do we mean open and closed? Well, because there's no ending consonant here. So the vowel sound is technically the last thing you hear. Ma, right?
Right.
So it's lengthened. This is a closed syllable in that the tav is the last sound that you hear, making it, it's a shorter sound. Mat. Okay, you don't hold it on like ma. Ma, you hold it out. Mat, it's cut off with the top, with the T sound. Ta.
Is that a complete word on the right there, Ma?
Ma, no. This I'm just using examples so that you can see the open syllable and yes, and the closed syllable. And in fact, one more thing for you for tonight as far as your grammar is concerned. I don't want to go too fast. I want you to be able to go home, take this stuff home and study it. And we're going to start, Nora gave me a really cool site from the University of Texas that does biblical Hebrew, and we're going to start giving you handouts and worksheets and things like that so we can practice, all right? So, 6 weeks test and all of,
No, don't do that.
Wait a minute.
Netzach, people, Netzach. So this is an open syllable, this is a closed syllable. Is everybody with me? Everybody understand what we're saying here? Okay? So, yes, I'm giving you this so you can visualize it, but I could simply do this and tell you this is an open syllable. This is a closed syllable. Okay? X meaning any of the consonants. Okay? Now, a couple of things for you. Because there's always an exception. There's always the exception. So, if I did this, now what? It is still an open syllable. When it ends in a hey, it is still an open, it's still called an open syllable. Why? Because the kametz actually becomes part of the consonant. It is considered a part of that consonant. Because you're ending with just what? With the breath. There's no sound there. And actually the breath is very short. Almost non-existent. So it's still ma. Okay? So the kametz becomes a part of the hey. Everybody with me? Okay? I'm gonna get yelled at. All right. What about that?
So the same thing.
There's no sound. It's still an open syllable. Okay. If I stuck the ayin in there, same thing. There's no sound. So whenever it ends in a vowel sound, it is considered an open syllable. Whenever it ends in a consonant sound, it is a closed syllable. Okay? And in telling you all of that, keep this in mind. The accented syllable depends on where you put the accented syllable depends on whether you are dealing with Ashkenazi tradition or Sephardic tradition. So here I teach you Sephardic tradition, the reason being that is the Hebrew of Israel. Okay? And with the exception of the ultra-Orthodox from Europe, almost everybody's going into Sephardi, going into the Sephardic tradition. The Sephardic tradition is the tradition, the Ashkenazi tradition. Ashkenaz. How many of you know Ashkenaz? Ashkenaz was the son of Yafet, who was the son of Noach. Okay, Noah, Yafet, Japheth. Okay, Yafet, everybody say Yafet. I like you to learn the Hebrew names of these boys because it helps get you back in touch with who and what they were. So Noach. Okay, Noach is with the transliteration. Noach. here so you don't get confused. Noah. Everyone? Noah. Okay. Yafet is his son. Ham, Shem, Yafet. Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Okay, Yafet. And he had a son. Yafet had a son whose name was Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz. And who was Ashkenaz? Ashkenaz moved his family from the area of the ark, Babylon, remember? When God scattered the people. So the Ashkenaz family migrated to Europe. And they are the antecedents, the ancestors of Europeans, of the Europeans. So Europeans are descended from Ashkenaz, particularly Eastern Europe, and the Teutonic tribes, okay, which is Germany and England, or the English, I should say, because not everybody in England is Teutonic, because there were some people that were already there, okay. So, but this would be Ashkenaz. The descendants of Ashkenaz would be the people of Germany, Poland, Czech, Yugoslav, Ukraine, those kind of people, that group.
What about the Norwegians?
The Norwegians, I'm not sure exactly where they stand.
We're Vikings, so I mean, where they come from.
Yeah, the Vikings, so they're Norse. They are from here, from Yafet, but I haven't really studied. I can't tell you honestly if they're from Ashkenaz or one of Yafet's other sons. Okay. Yes.
Roy, what did you say, Yafet?
Yafet is the son of Noah. Japheth. Ham, Shem, and Japheth.
Write it down, J-A, please.
I don't remember. I'm too used to the Hebrew.
J-A-P-E-C-H.
And see, the difference is that this is the Teutonic coming out, the Teutonic language coming out. The J in German languages was actually a Y sound, Yafet. So it wouldn't have been Yafet. Same with Jesus, Yesu. Okay. So, but as time went on, particularly in English, that sound hardened. If you go to Germany, today, and you hear someone saying that, or you read that, that's not going to be Ja, it's going to be Ya. Okay, and Ya means yes.
The first one was Noah, was the
Noah. What'd you say?
Who else the transliteration? What was the name?
Noah is Noah.
That's what I thought.
Yes, Noah is Noah. Yafet is his son Japheth, and then Ashkenaz is the son of Yafet. Okay, so it's this. So this is grandson of Noah. Okay, so he went over there when he was in German area, that land. When the Jews were removed from Israel by the Romans, they were brought up as slaves. A lot of them into Italy. A lot of them fled up through the Caspians and up through the land bridge that goes up into Russia. So a lot of them went up that way. A lot of them were taken into Italy. Some of them in Greece and such as that. And they all began, for the most part, to migrate up into Germany and into Poland and Lithuania and Ukraine and these areas. And this is where a lot of the relatively recent rabbinic teachings come from. The people that live there, Rashi and Nachmanides and Maimonides and these men that we study, many of them came from that group. So because they're living in the land of Ashkenaz, they're living in the land where this grandson said of Ashkenaz, they call themselves Ashkenazim, Ashkenazi, because they live in the land of Ashkenaz. Okay? That's how that works. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay. Sephardim, Sapar. Sapar is the Hebrew name for Spain. Sapar. Okay? So the Sephardim are what we would call what? If they came from Spain, then they're Spanish Jews. Okay? But though that is the name, Sephardim, Sapar, from Spain, Sephardim, Spanish, but it doesn't mean that all Sephardim come from Spain. The word Sephardi is anybody in the Mediterranean basin. So anybody who was raised, who grew up in the Mediterranean basin, they're called Sephardim. So that includes from Spain all the way around to the Middle East and all the way back down to northern Africa. Okay? That's all Sephardi region. The difference is because the Ashkenaz, why I'm telling you all of this is the difference of the accents. Okay? So the Ashkenaz, because they assimilated so much in Europe, they took on the accent of the Europeans. And in fact, we were discussing, what was it, Shabbat or last week, I don't remember, but we were discussing how they assimilated, how they lost their Hebrew. Okay, I think it was the Thursday night class last week. They lost their Hebrew. And this is the reason, in fact, it was the Wednesday night class when we were talking about the vowels. This is why the Masorim, the Masoretics, the Masorites, this is why they invented the vowel system, to help them to speak. Because all they would see is the consonants and they wouldn't know what the vowels were. So the Masorim decided to put the vowels in. Well, in order to put the vowels in, they had to put vowel markers. They had to create vowel markers. So that's where all of this comes from. The vowel markers. So they're being assimilated and integrated into European society. Many of them are losing their Jewish identity. To the point, by the way, this is where Yiddish comes from. What is Yiddish? Yiddish is a mishmash of Hebrew and German. And this is Yiddish is still spoken today in Europe, and particularly in New York by Chabad and those groups. They still speak Yiddish today. Yiddish basically is German written in Hebrew. It's German written in Hebrew. So it's a transliteration, like we do here. We take the Hebrew and we write it in English. They took the German and they wrote it in Hebrew. And then they would throw Hebrew words in. And so that's where Tex-Mex.
And you have Ladino.
And Ladino, yes, Ladino and that's the Sephardi tradition, is Ladino.
So when they came out of the ark, they just had like a man and woman of each. We don't know how the other families came, so they could translate. Has God created more people in the family, or?
No, you have 8 people in the ark.
Yeah.
You have Noah
Yeah.
and his wife. They didn't have any more children.
No.
Then you have 3 sons and 3 wives. Not 3 wives per son, 3 wives.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 per. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So they each then had families, just like Adam and Eve. Well, God just erased everything, a clean slate. But instead of 1 family, now you have 3 families. If you do family tree work, you'll find that it does not take very long. It does not take very many generations for 3 families to explode. Okay, within a couple of generations. Okay, my mom had 10 children. Okay, how many grandchildren? How many grandchildren do you have? She's looking at me with a blank stare. Mother.
Too many to count.
How many grandchildren do you have? 30. That's one generation.
Wow.
How many great-grandchildren do you have?
47, it'll be 50 this next year.
So, from 10, you have over 100 people.
They had other people marry.
But from 10, her 10 children, you have over 100 people in 2 generations. Now, using that same statistic, that same analysis, go another generation, because see what happens is you're not just going, what's the term that I want? You're multiplying by
Exponential.
exponential. Yes, it's an exponential multiplication now. Saying what? For this 100, and each one of them will also result in 100 grandchildren. Very quickly, you have thousands of people. The reason why, because working on my family tree, I look back just a couple of generations and the tree just greatly expands. And then you start counting all the cousins and what have you. Okay? So that's where all of the people came from. Okay? Any other? Yes?
In the Bible or whatever, how many people does it say how long they lived? Like Noah lived so long? Very many.
The age differential began to decline with Noah. Okay? Methuselah lived almost 1,000 years. So he lived almost a millennium. But God cut him short. He's the oldest man to live. God cut him short. He could not, God would not allow him to live a perfect life, so to speak, to a perfect age, because of our sinfulness. So he's cut short. But he lives almost a millennium.
There's in the Chumash, when it comes to talking about Methuselah, it's that he died 7 days before the flood.
Correct.
That's why God gave Noah an additional 7 days after he had already given him 7 days.
Correct.
It's because Methuselah passed
Yes.
away.
Yes.
The warning period.
When Methuselah died, that was the warning signal that God had given to Noah. That when Methuselah died, it will cut. Okay? And so Methuselah died, it came. But anyway, so Adam, I think, is 800 something years for Adam. And as you go, when you get to Noah, I don't remember how long God gave him to live.
It wasn't that long.
A couple of hundred, but by the time you get to Abraham's down to 120 years.
Yeah.
Abraham knew Shem by Jewish tradition. And if you do the counting, Abraham and Shem existed at the same time. Okay? So, in Jewish tradition is that Abraham knew Shem. That Shem is the one who taught Abraham about God.
I think Shem outlived Abraham.
Shem outlived Abraham. So,
I read there's 1 million ancestors behind each one of us. 1 million.
yes. Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. And yet, see, what happens is you go from a bottleneck to this great thing down to you, the individual.
Yeah.
But you go back to that, every person sitting here, and this is going to get into the tree of life stuff. This is very good for you to remember. Every human being is a descendant of Noah through one of the 3 sons. Okay? So everybody came from him. Where did he come from? He came from Adam. So every human being is a descendant of Adam. Saying what? In truth,
We're all related.
you're all family. Everybody's your family. This is why there is no room for racism or any of that kind of baloney. There's no room for it. It is to be excluded. It is to be excluded. We are all on the same footing. We are all the children of Noah, the children of Adam. B'nai, everybody say B'nai. B'nai. Noah. Noah. B'nai. B'nai. Adam. Adam. B'nai. B'nai. Elohim. Elohim. Child of God. Okay? So there's no room for any of that kind of stuff. And it should not be tolerated. And not even in secret. Okay? There should be no preference at all. One of the cool things about being Jewish is that there's all kinds of Jews. If you go to Israel, it's not white people. Jews come from every walk of life, every tradition. They are every color. When they left Mitzrayim, when they left Egypt, it wasn't a bunch of white Europeans that left Egypt. It was Middle Eastern people. They were actually what Abraham started out as a Babylonian, what we would say today an Iraqi. Okay, so you have yellow skin Jews, you have white Jews, you have brown Jews, you have black Jews, you have every creed, every color, every concept, red-headed, blonde, black, what have you. You have blue-eyed Jews, brown-eyed Jews, green-eyed Jews. There is no set distinction.
She says I'm pink.
And pink.
And pink Jews too. So.
And pink Jews. She's a pink Jew.
So, saying all of that to say this, Sephardi is the language from the Mediterranean area, and particularly the Middle East. In that, the difference is in the European Hebrew, European style Hebrew, the Ashkenaz tradition is that you follow the European way of speaking, which is the emphasis goes on the first syllable, as in syllable, right? But if I were following the Sephardic tradition, it would be syllable. The emphasis would go on the end. So in European languages, the rhythm, the pattern of speech is da 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 at the first, at the beginning. Da 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 da. The first syllable gets the emphasis. In Sephardi tradition, the last syllable gets the emphasis, so it's da 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 da. It's going to be, and so it's a different rhythm, it's a different flow. Okay? So we try to stick with Sephardi here because that is it used to be Ashkenaz, but now that is the prominent style of Hebrew. So helping you with to explain the syllables to you, and how you pronounce the word, why you're pronouncing it a certain way, why the emphasis is on that syllable. In Hebrew, in Sephardic Hebrew, the emphasis is almost always, there's always the exception, almost always on the second or third syllable. Okay? Everybody got it?
Got it.
All right, let's take 5.